Earlier the power was going off, as it does here sometimes, and so Guru Maharaj told us the story of the 3 Alwars, or disciples of Ramanujacharya, but they're Parshadas, eternal associates, and it's in India in ancient times, and it's totally dark. There's no moonlight, nothing. And they're engaged in Harikatha, talking about Krishna, right? Because that's what devotees do. Saraswati Thakur talks about the Krishna-loving people. We're aspiring to be Krishna-loving people and the servants of Krishna-loving people. And it's mentioned in the Gita, Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. As a Katayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha madchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. How the devotees relish talking about Krishna. And it's saying, and it's like a feast. They're tasting nectar. In the beginning of the Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that Parikshit Maharaj, who's fasting for 7 days, not even taking water, that, what is that verse? It says, I can't remember the Sanskrit now, but he's saying, I'm not becoming tired or thirsty because I'm continuously drinking the nectar of your descriptions, Parikshit Maharaj says to Sukadeva. So that's what the devotees do, and they're doing this in the darkness. They're talking about Krishna. And there's 3 of them. And one of them says to the other, like, I feel the presence of a 4th. Do you? And the second one said, I'm also feeling that. I feel that there's a 4th person here. And then the third one says, yes, it is the Lord Himself. So by their talk, they've drawn, Krishna's irresistibly drawn to the expression, Krishna conception that's coming from their hearts. So sometimes when the devotees meet and have these type of discussions, and we were at the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, and he was talking very nicely, and we're all appreciating that, and he was also appreciating it. And he said, perhaps our Guru Maharaj, meaning Srila Saraswati Thakur, and your Guru Maharaj, meaning Srila Prabhupada, Swami Maharaj, he said, perhaps they're looking down upon this transaction and they're very happy. They're very happy to see this. So this came to my mind, and I thought, Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj here, my dearest, oldest friend from the ISKCON time, and through Guru Maharaj to Gurudev until the present, and Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj, whom Gurudev said, you know, in his former manifestation, he said, the Mahananda flower blossoms under all circumstances. So I thought, how fortunate we are to have their association. And then I thought, perhaps Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Swami Maharaj, they're looking down upon this transaction, and it's giving them some joy or some happiness, that they would be very happy to see us all here. And so many friends from Chongqing and China and other parts of China, Shenzhen, Nalina, and other have come, actually from all over China. We know that. They're just temporarily stationed in different places. But when the devotees came from foreign countries, the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and of course Srila Guru Maharaj would speak, but sometimes he would ask them to say a few words. And there was one lady who spoke, a disciple of Prabhupada Swami Maharaj, and touched the heart of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. So much that what she said, Guru Maharaj would keep mentioning this for another 30 years. It was that perfect to him. And he was saying, what do you like about Krishna consciousness? And she said, What I like about Krishna consciousness is we're being given the opportunity to have a family life with Krishna. And we see now so many children are also joining with us, the next generation of devotees. And I'm reminded of that in Krishna conception, he's not a god in the clouds, just, you know, does anyone need anything? You know, that's not Krishna, right? He's in the center. He's as a child playing, he grows old, he's playing, he has friends, parents, aunties, uncles, and now we're blessed, all these children have come, and they have so many aunties and uncles. Whenever Guru Maharaj gave Harinam initiation to someone, after he mentioned many different things, the 10 offenses and the 4 types of namabhas, and you'll chant 4 rounds before the deity, and afterwards you'll take prasadam. But he would say, also, wherever you find the Vaishnavas, your god brothers and god sisters, you give your dandavats to them. He said, because now you have entered the family of Krishna. So we're welcoming you to the family of Krishna. Wherever you find them, approach your god brothers. And he always said this, consistently, the things I've just mentioned. And that would be that. And he'd say, and give them your dandavats, because you're now being welcomed into the family of Krishna. So as we're all assembled here, I'm reminded of those things, the wonderful family of Krishna, that is Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and what better opportunity could we have than to have Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj here. Avadut Maharaj is monitoring everything. We're reporting to Los Angeles, he knows everything, so he's very happy. Vijay Raman Prabhu is there. I always say he's the father of the Russian mission. Right, so Vijay is there and getting some news and very happy to see the pictures that are coming. And I said, really, Paramananda Prabhu arranged all of this. That's why Janardan Maharaj came, that's why we're here, all the devotees from China. In the background, he's making, and, Kala gets an assist. Krishna Priya's Yoga Maya in Thailand. Nothing happens here without her auspicious blessings. No. But so we're really fortunate to have the most auspicious visit, and Srila Janardan Maharaj, if you would say a few words, and then Madhusudan Maharaj can say something.
Yes. I like what you were saying, because I've heard Srila Govinda Maharaj, he was saying that actually we're not really sannyasis. He said, we're actually, he said, like grihastas, we're all within the family of Krishna. And there are some places where it's...
Don't tell that.
And there's some places where it's actually saying like that, where it says like, and Guru Maharaj would comment, Bhakti mama bijanati yavanyas chasmi tatvata, tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. And Guru Maharaj would explain, Krishna is saying, only by bhakti can I be known as I am before you, Arjuna. But then Guru Maharaj would say, when he says vishate tadanantaram, he's actually saying, then Mayavadis may say...
They'll say, then you enter into the unlimited.
But Govinda Maharaj, Guru Maharaj would explain that it means to enter into the family of Krishna.
Yes, right.
And also in the, when they're talking about Prapana Jivanamrita, and the section dealing with Goptridve Varanam, Goptridve Varanam, you could say accepting the Lord as one's guardian, but they would say, Govinda Maharaj, Guru Maharaj would explain it as entering into the family of the Lord. Goptrit Vevaranam. So,
and Jiva Goswami says that's the most important of the 6.
So actually that is our aspiration, to enter into the family of the Lord. And
yes, Achyuta Gotra also, that expression.
So we are having, and actually things like reading the scriptures, chanting the holy name, they're all activities which are enhanced by the presence of the devotees. And they become more ecstatic. For instance, it's one thing that's very nice to read the scriptures. I remember when I first came to the devotees, to be with the devotees, or I might say they came to be with me, because I was living in Europe, I was living in Denmark, and they came to where I was, and they stayed with me. And when they were staying with me, they would read there were just a few, some books that were out at the time. One of the books was the original Bhagavad Gita, and then they had
Ishopanishad, maybe.
Gita Upanishad. They also had teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which I liked very much. I was new, I didn't understand what it was all about. That was based on the philosophical parts of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And very nice. I didn't understand it, but I felt like it was very, very wonderful. And then they had the original 3 volumes of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that Srila Prabhupada published in India. And those volumes even smelled of India. They had a special smell to them. And then somebody said, what was that? It was some special printing, special paper, maybe how they were shipped. They smelled of the original, a little bit of the Lifebuoy soap. Because I think when they were printing, they would maybe even use that Lifebuoy soap to take print off their hands or something. Anyway, those I found very, very interesting. But what I find most interesting is when it's one thing to read the scripture and have some interest in the scripture, especially in the early days, as soon as a new book would come out, we'd read through it very quickly from cover to cover. But also I find now, what's especially relishable is to be able to read in the presence of the devotees. And that I find is the most wonderful. And you were talking about the 4th person being present as the Lord himself. I'm often reading the Lord is there because the deities, their deities are there. But also another person that I find present is myself. Because I'm actually somehow or other, by the quality of reading out loud and having the devotees listen, I'm also listening. I'm also listening to what I say and hearing, and it's almost like I'm hearing the reading just as they're hearing it, in the sense that it seems to me more poignant, very personal. Although it's from me to me, I guess, but it's not exactly like that. But it's like. And then I'll hear something and I'll say, I've read this many times before, but that's something that I never saw, or some nuance or something that comes out. It's like when you're reading from any of our scriptures, whether it's Bhagavad Gita or Chaitanya Charitamrita or books of Guru Maharaj or Govinda Maharaj or books published by Prabhupada. There's so many things that you read, and every time you read, there's something new that you weren't necessarily thinking about, or you just read over it, understanding, but then when you read it again, it comes out as very clearly, like, what can I say?
New light.
Huh?
New light.
Yeah, and like when you published the Lord's Loving Search for the Lost Servant, you had the cover like embossed with gold.
Yeah.
So there are things in the scriptures that you're reading, and it's almost as if they were embossed. They're almost like raised print or something like that. Not exactly on the visual level, but on the reading level. When you're reading over certain things, they come out as almost as coming out of the page.
Yeah.
And I think that effect is enhanced by the presence of the devotee listeners. That's what I feel. And then also, just like there's cameras here, there's also other listeners and other people who are listening, and perhaps in distant countries.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get some remarks from them that they'll say, we're listening in Brazil, or we're listening in Russia, or many different places. That actually is something exciting, in a sense, that what maybe 50 years ago couldn't even be imagined.
Right. Well, I think if Saraswati Thakur said the printing press was the Brihad Mridanga, then what is the potential of the internet in terms of reach? Because he's saying a mridanga can be heard in a local area. By publishing, it extends the view, and so through online, like you say, it's being broadcast. People are watching all over the world. So it's like an extension of Brihad Mridanga.
Yeah, so the internet can be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Yeah.
We were just in Paramananda and Krishna Priya's farm, and it was very wonderful there, very beautiful. And I was especially happy because Madhusudan Maharaj flew in from a long trip, and he got there about midnight, or after midnight actually, to the farm. And being there with him, it was very nice. It was like, you were coming from Malaysia?
Coming from Australia.
Australia, via Malaysia?
No, I went to Malaysia on the way to Australia.
Okay.
I heard a Hari Rama in there somewhere. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Saying, so my name is Ram Sundar. What does that mean again?
I think he's going to be a future preacher. He's got that nature in him.
Yes, we just have to train him to say the right things.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Madhusudan, tell us, since we saw you in Vrindavan on the Brajmandal Parikrama.
Maharaj, since we saw you in Vrindavan on the Brajmandal Parikrama, and many devotees there, then the festival continues. And we've come here, and I was thinking just now that actually before Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja, it wasn't just the devotees came for one day for the festival, but there was a build-up to the Vyasa Puja, the birthday of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, which we celebrated, headed by Srila Goswami Maharaj in Vrindavan, at our beautiful temple there. But for a lead-up, we did parikrama of Govardhan hill and went to so many places, had adventures, devotional adventures with the devotees, mini parikramas and parikramas. And similarly, it feels like that now, because in 2 weeks' time, and a bit, on the 14th of December, is Srila Gurudev's Vyasa Puja, Srila Govinda Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. And as Maharaj just pointed out, I've just arrived here, and it feels like I've arrived in a festival leading up to Srila Gurudev's Vyasa Puja. And not only feels like I'm in a festival, we are in a festival. We have a gathering of so many devotees around the world. So
and I should say one thing on that. Avadut Maharaj, this is what he wanted. But we always thought it would happen at another time of year. So somehow it happened at this time. But Avadut Maharaj was wanting this for 5-7 years, actually, for here. The devotees would come from China.
It's a self-manifested festival.
Yeah, it's a self-manifested festival. And at the right time, he said, Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj's appearance day is December 14th.
And this morning, Maharaj, we were trying to think of a name for this festival, as it's kind of self-manifested and didn't have a pre-named title. So perhaps you'd like to manifest a name for it. Anyhow, I was also reflecting too about now it is so many years since we came to Guru Maharaj, and we're sitting right here at Guru Maharaj's lotus feet in this exact place, this long-armed wooden chair, and just around the corner on the far side where he would sit on his outside wooden bed, and we'd sit there many days hearing from him, and on the front veranda when there would be more devotees. So, but it's many years since we were with Guru Maharaj in the terms of actual, 1982, 83, 84, if we add up all the years. And also now the years are passing by since we were with Srila Gurudev on Guru Maharaj's veranda and in so many places in the world. And I was thinking just now, what would they be expecting in the year 2020, which we are almost there. Now we're in 2019. And I really feel that Guru Maharaj and Gurudev would both be thinking, would be hoping that this kind of a gathering of family devotees, sincere seekers, coming together, not necessarily thousands of people, but sincere good people coming as a family together to hear about the conception of Gurudev, or to hear about the conception, if you like, of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. So we are always trying to do the right thing, is a common expression, I suppose, but we're trying to do what will be pleasing to Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. And here you are all making this happen. Their wish for the future, we can feel quite confidently, is as is taking place now here. And so everybody has a part to play to be here. If nobody is here, we're sitting in a temple with just some air coming through and some crickets. But so everyone has a part to play and everyone is appreciated. So Gurudev's temple that he would want us to be in is wherever we are in the world, where we've got this harmonious gathering of sincere seekers, hearing the line, one umbrella of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mata, one umbrella of the teachings of Srila Saraswati Thakur as presented by Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. And this automatically includes Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, whose Siksha Guru, instructing spiritual master, was indeed Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So this way we are fortunate to be here. And Srila Janardan Maharaj also expressed about the Vyasa Puja of Guru Maharaj that we attended in Vrindavan, that Janardan Maharaj, he said, I also wanted to be there, but for seva duty on the other side of the world, in Sokel, where Srila Janardan Maharaj is heads the Socal Seva ashram, a big ashram in California, the main ashram in America. Then he needed to be there for that seva while Hasya Priya Prabhu was representing Maharaj and that ashram, in fact, in Socal. So devotees are here in person and devotees also here in heart. And we are very happy to be with those of you on this occasion who've been able to make it here in person. And you have
and
your
heart.
And heart, as well as, okay, those on the other side of the camera talking about the digital world, who are here in heart and in person will be here presently. And actually, I'm coming here to introduce these two exalted Vaishnavas, and I can say that you have your resident sannyasi, who's Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj. He's resident here. And don't think that, oh, he's nearby, so it's not necessary to come to hear his class every week or something like that. I've heard the class before. No, not at all. You see how evidence here from around the world, people are coming to hear directly. And also, you can say they can also sit and watch on the screen at home. But there's always something different and more and personal to come to be with the Vaishnavas. So when you get the chance to come to Chiang Mai, please do come so you can be in the association of Goswami Maharaj and Paramananda Prabhu and the sincere team of Vaishnavas which is always present here. When you get the chance to come to California, come to the association of Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj, the team of senior devotees there. So many Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada disciples in California, headed by Srila Janardan Maharaj. Come, have their association, hear Maharaj's classes. Wherever you are in the world, when you can come to be with devotees, please try to make that opportunity. And if you don't have devotees living near you in the world, make some devotees. Make a community of devotees. Tell them about Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. And this way, let that family teaching, family life, grihasta, but the family life, a life of loving relationship with the Vaishnavas in relation to our spiritual masters and the Lord, make that a living thing and a real thing. So we're fortunate, we are in the festival, and these are my few words. I can, of course, say other things, but please, we've got our exalted Vaishnavas here. My service is to introduce the exalted Vaishnavas. So they, in a way, they're you already know about them. What is it? Self-introduced? I'm not sure what the word is. Self-evident.
Say a person who needs no introduction.
Yes, two persons who need no introduction.
Hare Krishna.
So Maharaj, perhaps you'd like to say something. It is, I feel it's very almost historic. You've got so many devotees here.
It's true. I make sure we take a group picture.
Okay.
Remember that. Get your iPhones and you know, Huawei, Xiaomi, whatever you have. You know, we're not. You know.
And Gurudev always liked, and I can't see behind me, but Gurudev always liked that from behind.
He likes the picture
to see the photo.
That's a fact. I'll just say that, and Maharaj anything. But so devotees are always Gurudev would send them to some program of his to take pictures, and then they show him a close-up of himself. And you know, he did enjoy looking at pictures of himself. He said in his pranam mantra, the Sundaram, you know, that line where he said, you know, Avrit's, you know, Ashishasam Bhushitam Chentya, etc. And then there's a line about Sundaram, a play on that word, and he said, and Guru Maharaj is saying, he's translating his own slogan, he said, about himself, he said, and looking very nice. So he liked to see a picture, but what he wanted was a picture of the crowd, showing him preaching to the crowd. Yeah. And they'd come and show him a bunch of close-ups of just him, without all the people. There's 5,000 people there.
But he'd take out his little camera.
Take out his camera that Janardan Maharaj gave him.
Yeah.
And Gurudev kept all the way through his life. He kept that one camera.
Yeah, I gave him, I was told, oh, Gurudev likes your camera, Larry.
Right.
Yeah. He used it.
That was the sign.
He'd always take it.
I can remind that this is, we're sitting in something that was envisioned by Srila Govardhan. Not something, but the temple was envisioned by Srila Govardhan.
Hare Krishna.
He gave direct orders for its manifestation.
Hare
That
Krishna.
connection, when he asked about this place, I said, yes, the name of this town is Chiang Mai. And he loved it so much, he kept saying Chinmoy.
Chinmoy.
Not
Chiang Mai, Chinmoy.
Temple there, Chinmoy town, he made the temple. And now,
Hare Krishna.
Chinmoy.
It does.
Something I read that I like very much. We've heard that Guru Maharaj talk about that person who hid in Srivasangam.
Under the basket, Malini's his mother-in-law, Srivas Thakur.
No, I was thinking of the brahmachari.
Oh,
There's
the one who only drank milk?
Milk, yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
But it's very nice because, first of all, the person's a real brahmachari, and he asked Srivas Thakur to please allow him in, and Srivas Thakur kind of breaks it.
These are kirtans. This is before they do Nam Sankirtan in the street. So all the kirtan at that point is behind closed doors, and only the most qualified devotees are allowed there, and other people can only hear from outside what is going on, and they hear singing, but ecstatic expressions, and there are different rumors about what's going on, some opposition, but in this case, Maharaj is saying, this one brahmachari is saying, no, I want to get my chance, I'm qualified, I should be allowed in there.
He gets the help of Srivas Thakur, and Srivas Thakur hides him behind a basket or something. And he's watching, and he sees some ecstatic goings on with Advaita Charya dancing and everything, and he's very moved. And he's especially wanting to see Mahaprabhu dance. And then, after seeing many feats, amazing things, then Mahaprabhu says suddenly, I'm not feeling the usual ecstasy, and there's somebody here who's hidden. And then Srivas Thakur, it's revealed, and then Mahaprabhu says, just because that brahmachari only drank milk, so then Mahaprabhu says just drinking milk is not a qualification. So then that brahmachari is escorted out of Srivasangam, and the brahmachari himself is reflecting, yes, what Mahaprabhu said is completely correct. Just drinking milk is not a qualification. The only qualification will be to have real bhakti, to have real devotion. And he's thinking like that. And when he's thinking like that, then suddenly Mahaprabhu calls him back in to the assembly. And he's allowed back in. And it's like he became transformed by Mahaprabhu saying, just drinking milk is not a qualification. And then it describes how the citizens in Navadip, many of them are very much attached to Mahaprabhu. And even though they're not allowed into Srivasangam, they make garlands for Mahaprabhu, and they give different things for Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu reveals, very soon in the future, I will take the kirtan outside of Srivasangam, and I will take it to all of you. And then instructs, now all of you in your houses should have groups of 8 to 10 persons, ideally, and chant the holy names. And as I think I said before, whereas in the Čайтанья Charitamrita, it's often when, it's said the Maha Mantra, but often in the Bengali it says Krishna Nam, Krishna Nam, Krishna Nam, like that, or chant the name of Hari. but it doesn't specifically always mention.
Nam Sankirtan, songs comprised of names of Krishna, may not only be Maha Mantra.
So there it's often saying Krishna Nam, and then in translation given by Prabhupada, he'll say Hari Nam, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But there in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, when Mahaprabhu's asking everyone to, he says, soon I will come out of Srivasangam and we will have kirtan going out throughout Navadvip. And he says, then you get together in groups of 8 or 10. And he says, and specifically, I am giving you this mantra. And he gives them the Maha Mantra, word by word. And I thought that was very, very nice, because first the sequence about the person whose brahmachari is only drinking milk, but that brahmachari reflects, and then Mahaprabhu calls him back in, and then
after his heart changed, then he got the right type of heart to participate.
Yes, and then Mahaprabhu going to the citizens and giving them the Maha Mantra and asking them to have basically kirtan in all their houses individually. Yeah. And he introduces them to the Maha Mantra. So when I read that, I found that very, it was very, very moving to see. Because there you hear specifically about the great affection that the people of Navadvip had for Mahaprabhu. I mean, there's many instances, remarks about envious people against Mahaprabhu, but the majority of the people in Navadvip, it's describing how they're very, they're very attached to Mahaprabhu. And even though they're not going into Srivasangam, they're very enchanted by the kirtans, and then Mahaprabhu includes all of them and brings them in. So I found that very nice. And another thing about family, I remember one time I came into the Brahmachari ashram downstairs from where Guru Maharaj was at Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And there was a picture of Prabhupada's sister hanging on the wall.
Pishima Bhavatarini Didi.
And from what I understand, she financed the first printing of Prapana
Jivanamritam.
Yeah. So, but I'm in the Brahmachari ashram, and there's Prabhupada's sister on the wall. So I said to one of the brahmacharis there, I said, oh, what is her picture doing here on the wall in the brahmachari ashram? and that person said to me, well, she's part of the family. She's part of our family, was the remark that he made.
I never thought about it like that before. You must have been a very good brahmachari in ISKCON. No picture of the women.
It was, but I was just surprised to see Prabhupada's sister's picture, not just about because she's a lady or anything like that, but because Prabhupada's sister in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat and the Brahmachari ashram, and then told she's part of the family. And that was, she actually approached Srila Guru Maharaj, and she wanted to take Diksha from him. Yeah,
she had Harinam from Srila Saraswati Thakur and wanted to take Mantra Diksha from Guru Maharaj. And he was at that time still hesitating to initiate, so he sent her to Goswami Maharaj.
But he also told her, you live in the same, like almost in the same neighborhood as Srila Bhakti Sharanga Goswami Maharaj. You're living very close to him, and you should take initiation from him. So she did that. And even Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he asked for Diksha, sannyas from sannyas initiation from Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj also hesitated about that. He said that your whole family has a relationship with me.
Yeah.
And something to the effect that it may not harmonize so well.
Yeah, because he gave sannyas to Goswami Maharaj while he was still a grihastha. So that put an end to his grihastha ashram. So he was not popular with his former. Because Guru Maharaj, that was the time where he said he's going there specifically to preach to him over like a 2-week period to take sannyas. And he had that, but Goswami Maharaj had, like you're saying, how that change of heart realization came. Because Guru Maharaj thought he's safe to give initiation because he was Ritvik of Saraswati Thakur. That's why. So he thought Prabhupada approved him, so we can safely send people to him because he was approved in his lifetime to give Ritvik, like that Vinod Bani in London. So in Goswami Maharaj's town, this young boy comes and he's giving his life to him, offering his life to him as his guru, and he gives it the name Vishnu Jana. And Guru Maharaj is preaching to Goswami Maharaj, and then finally Goswami Maharaj has this realization. He says, if he's giving up the world for me, then I must give up the world for him. So they used to laugh and sometimes say that the disciple gave the guru sannyas. The Guru, they would chuckle, because that's what is real. He said, he's giving up everything for me, then I have to give up everything for him to be his Gurudev. But that Goswami Maharaj is very clever, and he loved Guru Maharaj very much. On his Vyas Puja, everything they give to him, the money, the gifts, he gives it all to Guru Maharaj at the end. You know, and Guru Maharaj, and Prabhupada Swami Maharaj modeled himself after him. Like he was a model for the others. Like A.B. Goswami, then A.C. Bhakti, you know, his style. And, but he is very clever, like we're told, Brihaspati Barbella, during that period of time on Thursday, like, not to engage in financial transactions, you may incur financial loss. You know. So that's when he would go collecting. Because other people will incur financial loss. So he's saying it's a good time to go out and collect. You know. And then we're told once, there was a queen. Even when we went to India in the beginning, there were still queens, remember? We would meet, like they'd be queens of a village or an area. They were introduced as Ranis, as queens. You know. So this one queen, she's Vaishnavi and favors Vaishnavi, but her husband not so inclined. You know. So he had to keep some distance. She wants to help somehow, but he can't go to like the palace. So they arranged for him to stay nearby, and he can't go there. The queen's there, he's in the town, but nearby. And so she sent, but he needs to get a substantial donation. Right? So the queen sends her representative to ask, like, are your quarters suitable? You have, you know, everything you need? And Goswami Maharaj tells that messenger, that servant, we have everything we need, but, and he takes a pillowcase and he said, but one pillow I need. And he gives him an empty pillowcase. And the man goes back to the queen, he said, everything is good. He said, but he gave this pillowcase and said, there's one pillow that he needs. And the queen's like, aha. And she stuffs that full of money. And then they send it back as a pillow, like he's that clever. So his favorite disciple of Saraswati Thakur, of Prabhupada, Swami Maharaj loved him, and Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. And in his final days, he just stopped talking, just taking Krishna Nam and not speaking to anyone. And unhappy that Srila Sridhar Maharaj did not go to his Vyas Puja because Guru Maharaj was sick. So when people say, how was your Vyas Puja this year? He said, not good. They go, why? And he goes, Sridhar Maharaj did not come. So he's not talking to anyone, just taking Krishna Nam and going on with internal culture. So Guru Maharaj could not travel, so he sent Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. And as soon as Govinda Maharaj is there, he's talking, and they're just non-stop talking. But he wouldn't talk to anyone else. And Srila Govinda Maharaj, when Guru Maharaj stopped traveling, he's always looking for partners to take the Guru position. So he would do programs. Then Swami Maharaj used Govinda Maharaj. When Govinda Maharaj was a brahmachari and Prabhupada Swami Maharaj was a householder, because in India they respect the saffron color, Prabhupada would make a program and have Govinda Maharaj was just a brahmachari, and have him sit in the asan like but Swami Maharaj would give the class. But he would use him. So then later, Govinda Maharaj, he'd bring the Gaudiya Math, Goswami Maharaj, Jajamar Maharaj, Madhav Maharaj. He'd arrange programs that Guru Maharaj would not go to, and they would go instead. And there's the famous thing of, and so he knows Goswami Maharaj's preaching very well. And another time when Guru Maharaj cannot go, they're sending Govinda Maharaj as the Mat representative for Goswami Maharaj's Vyas Puja. And the devotees pick him up, and they're taking him to the Mat, and Govinda Maharaj says, do you know what Goswami Maharaj will speak about today?
First verse.
And they're saying, like, what do you mean? Who can know the mind of Guru? What he will say? Some divine inspiration will come to him? No one can say that. No one can know that. And Govinda said, well, I know. I know what he's going to say. No, how? And then, how's that sloka go?
Any day is a good day.
Yeah, Durdinam something. Durdinam means a bad day. So it's saying, normally, because Govinda Maharaj saw it's getting ready to rain. And so the verse says, Durdinam something manye, it means, normally we say, whether it's a good day or a bad day is according to the weather. So if it's raining, then we say, oh, it was not a nice day. And if the sun is shining, that's a good day. But the verse says, but that's not how devotees decide what is a good day. For them, a good day is if in that day you heard glorification of Krishna, Mahaprabhu, the Guru Varga, the devotees, then that was a good day. And regardless of the weather, if during your day you didn't hear any Hari Katha or Krishna Katha, that was not a good day. And Govinda said, that is the verse that he will speak. And because he saw it's getting ready to rain, and so by that time it's like raining a little bit, and then when Goswami Maharaj starts to speak, he quotes this verse and starts giving his talk. And Govinda Maharaj smiling. Devotees say, how could he know? So that sometimes Srila Govinda Maharaj said too, because when it comes to God brothers, God sisters, like a family, again, there can be some differences, things like that. Sometimes hot, cold, and everything in between. But Gurudev said very effectively, he said, so you've heard different things about the God brothers, the disciples of Srila Saraswati Thakur. He said, but I have seen firsthand such loving, affectionate dealings between themselves and towards myself. He said, so I know another side that you've never, or you've had little experience of. And he was trying to remind us of that we not think in negative ways about them. And Srila Prabhupada also said, because he made comments from time to time, and sometimes his disciples, we would echo, and he'd say, stop us and say, my Guru Maharaj did not initiate rascals, like us. He's saying, like, they're exalted souls. I can say some things, but you shouldn't think like that. It'll be harmful to your spiritual development to think like that.
I was there in Vrindavan, you know, before Prabhupada left, and some of his godbrothers came there. There was Krishnadas Babaji and some of his other godbrothers came there. And Prabhupada said to them, you don't mind what I said, because he said my style was to preach with the Bhagavatam in one hand and a hatchet in the other. I heard him use that expression.
But he did ask, like, forgive. So if I said some things,
yes,
like, you know, I'm begging your forgiveness because I did say some things. You know? But sometimes he would say, you know, when he became successful spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, and they'd say, and what are your godbrothers doing? He said, they're just ringing bells in the temple. You know, like, you know, ding ding, ring the bell, and like, and so the godbrothers would hear that and they would get very upset. Swami Maharaj says, we're just bell ringers, you know. And then they'd go to Guru Maharaj and say, because they always go to Guru Maharaj for the adjustment. Because if he says that Swami Maharaj is wrong, then they've got something. But if he defends him, then they know they don't have anything, no ground to stand on. So they go to Guru Maharaj and say, Swami Maharaj, he's saying we're just in the temple ringing bells, we're not doing any real preaching or anything. And Guru Maharaj said, understand, he said, he has this grand kirtan that's going on all over the world. And if you get the position of a kashi player, it means the cymbals, the kartals, he said, if you get a position like that in this great kirtan, then how fortunate you are. So he threaded that needle. He didn't say that what Prabhupada was saying was not correct, but he gave them, like, if you're a bell ringer, basically, in that, oh, what an exalted position you've achieved. And they went away happy.
Yes, Mar?
No.
Then
Are you looking through me?
Oh, no, I'm looking at you.
You're looking at me? Oh, okay.
Maharaj, I could never look through you. I mean,
Well,
although you may be a transparent via media.
ho.
It's possible. Who knows what I will see?
Maharaj, please don't look.
No, that was the cue. That was the cue for you to say something.
Oh, cue for me. Oh, it's a wonderful evening. On my right, Goswami Maharaj, on my left, Janardan Maharaj, in front of me, all of you.
But Prabhupada said also that a Vaishnava is a perfect gentleman. And when we think of Madhusudan Maharaj, we think perfect gentleman.
Hare Krishna. It was a beautiful evening, Maharaj.
Yes, it is.
Maharaj, a beautiful evening in Chiang Mai, northern Thailand, with Giriraj.
When we had the first Gaur Purnima substantial festival at the Mat with Westerners coming, Srila Govinda Maharaj was very concerned about getting mosquito nets for everyone. They weren't there yet. And he was like really nervous, and the clock's ticking down, and we were in the afternoon. That's where Guru Maharaj would sit like that in the chair, and Gurudev was there. And then Govinda Maharaj just got the news that you could see downstairs, all the mosquito nets arrived. And so he's like so relieved. And he said, now everyone will be happy, like all the stress, the pressure. He said, now everyone will be happy. And then Guru Maharaj says, but the mosquito section, they will not be happy. And it shows, one, Guru Maharaj had a sense of humor, a peculiar sense of humor, but that also, that he could think like that. that on that level, they'll have some unhappiness.
But they would still be happy, because even with a mosquito net, if you would lean your arm against the...
Maharaj is giving them that happiness. Out of his mercy. Sometimes he would stick his arm out and say, go ahead.
You would lean, if you rolled over in your sleep and your arm was leaned against the mosquito net, then it would be tattooed in the morning.
Yeah, before they had screens on the window, sometimes at night I like turn on my flashlight and see some bug who looked like a monster, like, you know, like really like massive.
Yeah, when we were at Dum Dum Park, that was one thing, the mosquitoes. But when you went to Koikali, that was that was where the Adi mosquitoes were from.
But these places, I was just talking to Tirtha Maharaj when we were in Vrindavan, and I was remembering, because we didn't have a place in Calcutta, before we would go to the Mat, sometimes we had to stay at various cheap hotels in Calcutta, and Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, they didn't like to hear that. It gave some like pain to their heart. They go, where did you stay last night? And then they go, oh, you know. So that was, Gurudev, if you see, he's always building a place to accommodate the servitors, like Sevak Pavan, he used that name, he wants to have a place to accommodate the servitors and then everything else. So he is always thinking about Calcutta and looking at, and as mentioned, Gat Koi Kali and Dum Dum Park later. But first they had this place in Ultadanga, you know, which is actually where the Gaudiya Math began. So it's doubly significant. But so Guru Maharaj would ask me, like, did you stay there? You know, and I'd go, no, you know, I was kind of like avoiding it. But then he said, no, you don't understand. At the time, Prapanna Krishna, that was Tirtha Maharaj's brahmachari name, and Subal Saka, Damodar Maharaj. He said, they are there, like posted for this very reason. So on my way out, Guru Maharaj said, if you will go there, they will be so, like they're waiting for something, you know, like they'll be so happy. So please go there. So on my way to the airport, I get there around 11 o'clock at night. And it's just this tiny little room, you know, but like perfectly arranged is like a mat with the perfect mosquito net, like done the right way, you know, where nothing gets in, you know, like, and Damodar Maharaj and Tirtha Maharaj, like smiling, and they've made khichdi and puris and begun bhaja and all it's 11 o'clock at night, you know. They're serving me all these things, you know, and then offer me the bed that's perfect with the little mosquito net, and like I was inside, like, and I thought, it suddenly occurred to me, I thought, like, Guru Maharaj is doing this through them, and I was so reluctant and like not reading him properly, but he wanted me to go there and said they'll be very happy, but really it made him and Govinda Maharaj happy. They wanted our devotees to start doing this. But what was it? I had mixed feelings. I said, I'm accepting this service from him. I thought as if Guru Maharaj has put the mat, Guru Maharaj has put the mosquito net, he arranged the khichdi, all these things, you know, through his servitors. But that sort of like love and affectionate dealings was the hallmark of Chaitanya Saraswat Math. It's not just that ritualistically we did some things different than ISKCON or another Gaudiya Math, but it was always about people, when they entered the Math, when Srila Govinda Maharaj was managing everything, they would always be overwhelmed by the love and affection that they received. That was the hallmark of Chaitanya Saraswat Math. In addition to Srila Guru Maharaj's Siddhanta and all these extraordinary things, you know. So if you come, Srila Govinda Maharaj, without, if there was no arrangement or anything. They come, Begun Bhaja, fried eggplant. Later Maharaj told me, he goes, that's my secret weapon. Like that, you know, because you'd go like, oh man, this is unbelievable. And it could be made very quickly. But so I brought some leaders from ISKCON once, and you know, like, and there was a really wonderful darshan. I was convinced, if someone hears from Guru Maharaj, like, I did my job. Like, if that doesn't do it, I don't, you know. But so, then we were taken downstairs by Srila Govinda Maharaj to have Begun Bhaja and, you know, and all these things. And then while we're getting ready to cross the river to go back to Mayapur, and this is very unusual, Srila Govinda Maharaj comes and says, Guru Maharaj wants to see you again. And that doesn't usually happen after the darshan and prasad. Whoa. So we go upstairs, and then we couldn't believe what we're hearing. Guru Maharaj said, I am thinking that your earnestness to the group, you know, there's like three of it, he said, your earnestness to preach Krishna consciousness is on such a level that Mahaprabhu himself has supplied this prasadam. So I asked Govinda Maharaj to bring some to me. So what we were taking, Guru Maharaj took some of that with this thought in mind, that he said, Mahaprabhu has personally supplied this. So I asked Govinda Maharaj to bring me. Who thinks like that? And like from their heart. And then that's when the one devotee, he said, it was actually Satsvarup Maharaj, but he said, oh, like, well, thank you, you know. And Guru Maharaj said, thank you? You know, that doesn't sit well with me. And then he's going like, what should I say? Like, oh my God, like after all this beautiful moments, you know, like, what should I say? And Guru Maharaj said, express some gratitude. He said, but the reason I don't like thank you, and by the way, footnote, it doesn't mean we can never say thank you. You know, it's in a particular context. So Guru Maharaj said, when you say thank you, it presupposes two parties. And that one party got something from the other party, so they're saying thank you. And then like, the setting like that there, and then Guru Maharaj, he turned his arms like this way, and he turned his head and he said, but we are all Mahaprabhu's men. Like very lovingly, affectionately, and in my mind at the time I thought, he who is so exalted, he says we. When he says we, he's including us. And at the time, I said, there are others, he's not part of their we. How unfortunate. But when he says we, he is included. He said, we're all Mahaprabhu's men. You know, it was like an ecstatic embrace. Hare Krishna. Kirtan or stories?
Well, I remember when I went with Guru Maharaj, he explained something about the name, although he didn't say exactly, but he said, explained something about the name of Aparad Bhanjan Pad, in the sense that he said,
louder.
He said, here at this place you will find the greatest return on your investment. So he says, so deposit everything you have here and you'll get the greatest return on your investment. That, when I went there, he said that.
And Aparad Bhanjaner Pat means the place where Mahaprabhu forgave all the aparadis or offenders their offenses. Because later it came to Guru Maharaj's ear, someone as a spin said, because more were coming, and said like, oh, don't worry about it, it's only the offensive people who are going there. So actually a service is being done. It's similar to what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says about Sahajiyas. Like, so they're being quarantined. So not to worry, nothing to see here, just the offenders are going and taking shelter there. So then that came to Guru Maharaj's ear, that it had been said, and Guru Maharaj said, yes, tell them that all the offenders are coming and taking shelter in the Aparad Bhanjanera Path, and soon Mahaprabhu will forgive all their offenses and give them everything.
Hare Krishna.
So he said that about the investment, he said. And then at that time he also said, so bhakti is not about power, and bhakti is not about knowledge. But he says, so he said it is about action. So first, not karma, not jnana, but he said power and knowledge, but about giving, about devotion. So he's explaining that. And then I said, but Guru Maharaj, everybody knows that you have very much knowledge.
Yeah.
You're very knowledgeable, and you're saying that it is not about power and it's not about knowledge, but you're very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So how you can say that, more or less to that effect, how you can say that it's about knowledge? And then he smiled and he said, knowledge is the minister, and knowledge comes to prostrate himself in front of bhakti and offer his services. So he explained like that. Because when he said that, I just thought, how you yourself are known as so knowledgeable.
I said that to him once also. I said, Saraswati Thakur says, Sridhara Sakalam Beti. He knows everything. And now you're telling me Jnana Shunya Bhakti, just like teasing a little bit. But it was funny, it was like he was caught, and he went, for a second. And then he said, when knowledge comes to serve devotion, then it's in its rightful position. Yes, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, do you want to lead a kirtan? After all the talk of Krishna Nam and Srivas Angam, and she's translating, and it's going on the Bluetooth.
Who?
Sulakshana, that's why she's sitting there.
Oh, I just saw some movement.
A shape.
Movement out of the corner of my eye. Okay. So we sing Hari Haraya?
Yeah, yeah.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama.
Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama.
Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana.
At the end, assemble
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan.
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra.
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Yes.
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath.
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath.
Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jai Te Vignana Shabista Puran. Jai Gosai Char Mui Taradan. Tasabar Padarenu Mora Panchagras.
Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abhilash Echai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Amar
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Amar
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya
Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottamada
Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottamada
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya
Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottamada
Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narottamada
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Satara Sadashri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath, Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gop Govinath, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, Shri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai, Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Vishvavarenya Srilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Brinda Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimalavadut Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Sriman Paramananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Srimati Bhakti Lalita Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Priya Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Photo time, please come all together.
Oh, right, yeah.